All right, here we are back. Had to get the cookies out of the oven. Made some chocolate chip cookies. All right, so number 4, similar process. Let's start solving this one. This will be probably not going to take the limit yet, so let's see what we can simplify. X to the 2n plus 2 over x to the 2n. That is like x to the 2n times x to the 2, and this is just x to the 2n, so those parts would cancel. I'm left with x squared there. Then the 4 to the n over 4 to the n plus 1, that's going to simplify just to be 4, like this. Now I'm going to take the limit with respect to n. There's no n's in here, so it just equals x squared over 4 as our answer here. Check, 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 4 for 4. Now, let's bring it all together in part 5. So notice how I'm going to read this and then make that a connection to a previous lesson so you can see how I know what to do in this question. What are all the values of x for which the series converges? Looking for values of x for the series to converge, and then I see all these intervals. So this is an interval of convergence question. That's the thinking I need to do. I think back to my notes. I know we can use the ratio tests to solve interval of convergence questions. So here we go. The limit as n goes to infinity of the absolute value of x plus 2 to the n plus 1 over square root of n plus 1 times, then I reciprocate what I'm given. This is square root of n over x plus 2 to the n like this. I've set up my limit. Now to solve this limit, I'm going to use the same thing. So let's dive in and do that. So the x plus 2 to the n plus 1, that's going to cancel with this. I'm going to write up my limit still. That would be x plus 2 over 1 in the numerator, or 1 in the denominator. So then the n's, similar to question 2 here, the n's aren't going to cancel algebraically. They'll cancel the limit in a second, but not algebraically. So this would be square root of n over square root of n plus 1. So now I'm looking at this here. If I take the limit as n goes to infinity of this part, remember this is x, so I can just treat that like a constant, n to the 1/2 is equally dominant to n to the 1/2, so that limit becomes 1. So this limit equals absolute value of x plus 2, like that. Then, for the ratio test, I remember that if the limit is less than 1, the series will converge, which is what I want to happen here. So then we can break this into an interval like x plus 2, less than 1, greater than negative 1. Move the negative 2 over, I get negative 3, less than x, less than negative 1. That's good news because this interval matches 3 of my answer choices, so I'm going to cross out D and E. When I look at A, B, and C, I notice that the differences between these is in the equal signs. When I see that, I remember we need to check the endpoints independently to see what happens if they converge or diverge at each of those endpoints. So here we go. Make my quick t-chart. If I plug in negative 3 to my original series, that would be negative 1 to the n over square root of n. Then if I plug in negative 1, we get the series 1 to the n over square root of n, which is essentially the series 1 over square root of n. Then I'm going to independently see which of these converge, which of these diverge. So let's look at this one. I see that it's alternating, and I know if it's alternating, I can take the limit of the terms without the alternator, and if that equals 0, then I know it converges. Let's see. The limit of 1 over square root of n, that does, in fact, equal 0, so this series converges at that endpoint. Let's look at this one. If I look at the series here, it's a positive series. So that same thinking, if I get 0, which I would be the nth term test, and that's inconclusive for positive series. So I need a different test. I recognize this is a p-series with p equal to 1/2, which is less than 1, so this endpoint diverges. Important to note that. Because this side converges, I can put an equal sign here and here. Because this side diverges, I'm going to leave this as less than. Given this answer here, I know the correct answer choice is B. Make sure you got that Comes up a lot on the AP exam. You can expect it a lot on the test, so make sure you're ready for that question.